Celluloid. First mass-produced for guitar picks by D'Andrea in 1922, it emerged as the first successful commercial substitute for the increasingly scarce tortoiseshell. Before its invention, guitarists relied heavily on organic materials that were expensive and often fragile. Celluloid changed the landscape by offering a warm, vintage tone and a smooth attack across the strings. While it is highly flammable and wears down faster than modern plastics, it remains a classic choice for players who value traditional feel and a natural, snappy response. Today, players typically find them ranging from a delicate 0.46mm up to a sturdy 1.5mm in thickness, with iconic offerings still coming from legacy brands like Fender and D'Andrea. Nylon. Introduced commercially to the guitar world by Herco in 1966, this material brought unprecedented durability and flexibility to everyday playing. Manufacturers soon realized that its naturally slick surface needed extra grip, leading to the raised, textured patterns commonly found on these picks today. It produces a softer, less pronounced attack compared to stiffer plastics, making it especially popular among acoustic strummers. The inherent flexibility allows players to dig into chords without the pick snapping under pressure. You will generally find these ranging from an ultra-thin 0.38mm up to around 1.5mm, commonly seen in the famous Dunlop Max Grip series and the classic Herco Flex line. Delrin. Originally engineered by DuPont as a high-strength mechanical plastic, it was famously brought to the guitar market by Jim Dunlop under the name Tortex in 1981. It features a distinct matte finish that naturally resists slipping even when a player's hands start to sweat. The tone it produces is bright, focused, and articulate, giving single-note lines a pronounced click against the strings. Its resilience and consistent wear have made it an industry standard for rock and punk guitarists who demand aggressive picking without constantly breaking their gear. Available in familiar color-coded systems, these typically range from 0.50 to 1.14mm thick, heavily popularized by the ubiquitous Dunlop Tortex and Clayton acetal lines. Ultex. Though pioneered for picks by Steve Clayton in the 1990s and officially introduced by Jim Dunlop in 2001, this aerospace-grade composite was adapted for musicians seeking an ultimate blend of lightweight feel and extreme rigidity. It closely replicates the much-desired acoustic properties of real tortoiseshell, but with vastly improved durability. The material generates a wide dynamic range, allowing for bright, crisp highs and deep, resonant lows depending on the angle of attack. Because of its glass-like edge and near indestructible nature, it is heavily favored by technical players who need maximum control and minimal flex. Players usually seek these out in thicknesses between 0.60 and 2.0mm, with prime examples being the standard Dunlop Ultex line and their highly sought-after Primetone series. Metal. Utilized for centuries before the rise of commercial branding, these rigid tools are cut from materials like brass, copper, or stainless steel to offer an entirely different acoustic profile. Historical players sometimes filed down coins to achieve a similar effect when commercial options were scarce. Striking a steel string with a solid piece of metal creates a sharp metallic chime with immense volume and harmonic richness. While they provide exceptional attack and never wear out, they demand careful technique to avoid snapping strings or scratching the surface of the guitar. Because of the material's inherent strength, they can be stamped as thin as 0.2mm or forged into rigid blocks well over 2.0mm thick, with modern varieties commonly produced by specialty brands like Timbertones and Tech Pick. Wood. Serving as another traditional option that predates modern manufacturing, these organic tools are handcrafted from dense hardwoods like ebony, rosewood, or walnut. They carry unique tonal signatures based on the specific species used, naturally lacking the flexibility of plastics. This means the thickness directly dictates the volume and energy transferred to the strings. The resulting sound is typically very warm and earthy, gently subduing harsh treble frequencies. Over time, the oils from a player's hand condition the surface, allowing the instrument to slowly mold to their specific grip. To maintain structural integrity without snapping, they are carved much thicker than plastic alternatives, usually measuring between 2.0 and 5.0 millimeters thick, with boutique brands like Timbertones and Thalia providing popular modern options. Tortoiseshell. Prior to the invention of modern plastics, this organic material sourced from the shells of the Atlantic hawksbill sea turtle was the absolute gold standard for stringed instruments, officially patented for guitar use by John Ferris in 1885. It offered an unparalleled combination of stiffness and natural flexibility, and because it was composed of keratin, it mirrored the tone and feel of a human fingernail. The resulting tone was sonically rich and incredibly full, establishing an acoustic benchmark that companies still try to replicate today. However, the extreme overharvesting of hawksbill turtles led to a global ban under the Endangered Species Act in 1973, making genuine commercial production illegal. Because vintage pieces must be tracked down individually on the used market, their thickness varies wildly based on the original cut, though they typically align with modern medium to heavy gauges around 0.70 to 1.5 millimeters. Glass. Originating from the same tonal philosophy as bottleneck slides, this boutique option takes the beloved acoustic qualities of tempered or borosilicate glass and condenses them into a plectrum. The completely smooth, rigid surface creates a uniquely slick playing experience with a very bright, chirping attack. It consistently draws out complex upper harmonics from the strings, making it a favorite for studio musicians looking to add a specific chiming layer to their acoustic tracking. Despite being toughened during manufacturing, it still requires careful handling to avoid accidental breakage. To ensure durability against heavy steel strings, artisans craft these much thicker than traditional plastics, typically ranging from 2.0 up to 4.0 millimeters, generally sourced from specialized custom makers like Brossard. Stone. Dating back to the earliest days of human toolmaking, this material has been modernized for guitarists by boutique artisans carving semi-precious gems like agate, jade, and quartz. Polished to a mirror-like finish, it offers absolutely zero flex and glides off the strings with minimal friction. The resulting tone is incredibly bright, loud, and articulate, projecting a glassy chime that cuts effortlessly through heavy band mixes. While they will practically outlast the player under normal use, dropping them on a hard studio floor can cause them to chip or shatter. Due to the carving process and the need for structural strength, they usually range between 2.0 and 5.0 millimeters in thickness, with specialty companies like Timbertones producing highly sought-after examples.